I don't know what like Anna's personal motivations are in like how her perspective is shifted on a lot of these issues. This is the part that Uncle Jank was attacking Sam on Twitter for.
Right-wing pundit who joined a liberal network, like Ana Kasparian announcing she's leaving the left. You know what I mean? Or Dave Rubin.
I mean, listen, I if you want to say that these are like the intellectual pillars of...
No, certainly not. I'm saying something's causing an emotional rift that makes people not want to be on the left anymore.
Man, last question. Is Ukraine the worst enemy of America or the world? Ukraine is the greatest enemy of mankind. It's funny when he just like, when he does like the little baby slam on the table too. He's like, Ukraine is the greatest enemy of mankind. We have to apologize to Russia. How dare they? How dare we? Yeah, let me crack my knuckles and talk about how people are leaving the left and joining the right. It's called money. It is infinitely easier and probably way more welcoming and more rewarding to have an audience of dumb that love you for saying the right things. Okay? If you do not have firmly held convictions that are born out of empathy, and that if you are not willing to take a metric ton of both from the right and also in many instances from people who you thought were your allies, or even directly from the marginalized communities that you speak in defense of, you're not going to have a good time on the left. Okay? Because the left, there's nothing the left loves more than on each other. Okay? Nothing. Nothing at all. I have been called a transphobe by trans people in the past. I have been called a white supremacist by black people in the past. I've been called not sufficiently pro-Palestinian by pro-Palestinian people in the past. I've been called a misogynist by women. I have been called everything. And yet, here I stand before you, still unchanged, unyielding, not changing my perspective even a little bit, because I do not advocate for the civil rights and liberties of marginalized people because I want them to like me. I'm doing it because it's right. Okay? That's how it works. That's what it is. And I think that a lot of people, after years and years and years of doing this, sometimes get annoyed and want to go the more comfortable route. Maybe want to get loved by people, welcomed by people. And the right will always welcome you, no matter what your background is. You can be a Haitian dude, and as long as you are a white supremacist, they'll say you eat cats and dogs, but they'll still welcome you with open arms while you are engaging in the process of doing white supremacist talking points. Okay? And most recently, a terrorist and an anti-Semite. Yeah, that too. Do you think the right would actually welcome Muslim participants? They absolutely would not. Andrew Tate and Sneeko are two recent revert additions to the right. They are both Muslim. And yes, they are not just right-wing, they are far right. Okay? The right likes a good token, so yes, if you're famous enough, they will accept you. What you described as my issue with the Muslim imams, etc., that endorsed Trump the other day, and then the message that the old Giuliani dude says that terribly inhumane shit about Palestinians and Arabs alike is clear proof they don't give a Well, I can't speak on the personal ambitions and motivations of like the imams that were hyping up Donald Trump. I would never do such a thing. I think it's gross. Why did I look it up and it says that Andrew Tate faked his conversion to Islam for business in Dubai? That's so funny. I didn't even know that that was the case. I honestly think the right wouldn't accept you with open arms if you joined the grift. I think it would take some time. But I mean, look at it this way, dude. Here, I'll give you an example that is like kind of drama, but like it'll help you understand this. Every single person that now is riding with Ethan Klein, every single one of them from Keemstar to all of these like actual neo-Nazi heads and also even Destiny himself used to make fun of him all the time. They've called him heinous. They've ruined his life. They've made up insane conspiracies about him, right? And now they're all riding for him. Why? Because he has set his crosshairs on an enemy that they despise even more than Ethan. For the switch to like being right wing in one, not even across the board, because I'm not saying that Ethan's like right wing across the board at all, but even a switch in one point is enough for people to be like, dude, you're so based. You're so based. That's it. That's all it takes. That's what I'm saying. It's just like all it takes is for someone to, even on one issue alone, attack one of their perceived enemies. Okay? Claiming imams supported Trump as such a libtag is literally two anti-Houthi, anti-Iran local preachers. What? No, I didn't say that like I didn't say that like imams were across the board promoting Donald Trump. That chatter asked me about the imams that did, and I'm saying I don't know what their personal motivations are, but I would never do such a thing. I think it's like stupid to do that. Seen the video where they call Ethan basically a useful idiot and how D's crew don't care about anti-Semitism or are only saying it they do to attack you? I haven't seen that video, but it's not shocking to me that it exists. I mean, yeah, these are people who despise Ethan for the longest time, and you know, now they seemingly love him, and they'll continue to show support as long as he continues to attack me. But the moment he turns back to, you know, someone who's being transphobic and starts calling them out, they're gonna relapse and be like, you. Has your live always had this intended for specific audiences? Pop-up warning? Yeah, that's a new thing. They're doing like content warnings if you're talking about politics, which I am, so I think it's valid. They were talking about your Ukraine takes. Did you see the show today? How could I have seen the show today, brother or sister? I'm live. And even if I wasn't, I wouldn't be watching. But I suspect that he'll slowly walk from Ukraine inevitably back to me buying a house eventually. We've moved back to like 2022 era smears. And eventually he'll get to 2021 and he'll be like, remember when he bought a car? Fake socialist. And then all the way back to 2019 and be like, remember when he said America deserved 9/11? That shit was up. They brought a Ukrainian woman in a bunch of clips from 4 years ago out of context. Very bad faith. Yeah. I did. I bought a car too. Well, I leased it. Do you have a comment for us to why your community is saying they will vote for Trump? I mean, come on, dude. Voy a votar por Donald Trump.
Mi gente sale a votar sin miedo a la calle. No hay miedo. No te quedes en la casa, así que tú no me falles. Oye, sale a votar, vota con los tres de La Habana. Mano para arriba la gente, mano para arriba. Ciudadana americana. Ay, 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 por Dios. Ahí nada más. Yo voy a votar por Donald Trump. Repítalo. Ay, 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 por Dios. Yo voy a votar por Donald Trump.
That's it. That's all I gotta say, baby. Ain't nothing else. You know what I'm saying? It is pretty funny that you guys we're watching this shit, but like low key, some dumb is gonna clip this and then I'm gonna see this on like every subreddit being like, Hasan is urging people to go out and vote for Donald Trump. You know what I mean? We can't even have fun anymore, you know? Anyway, I got here because we were looking at the right-wing grift.
Listen,
Let's finish this.
If you want to say that these are like the intellectual pillars of...
No, certainly not. I'm saying something's causing an emotional rift that makes people not want to be on the left anymore.
Well, I would suggest it's probably cash. I
You
mean,
think
like
Ana
you said,
Kasparian wanted money?
she said as much as far as I know in the past on TYT.
She said she would make more money by being not leftist.
I don't know if she said that. But I know that...
Wait, that's objectively a correct position. Like, not ascribing that to Ana Kasparian directly, but like saying saying that like you would make more money as a right winger is correct. Like that's correct. That is factually accurate. And I'm sure Anna has even said that in the past as well. Like, because it is correct. It is a much more comfortable territory to be a part of. You get unimaginable institutional protection unless you are literally straightforward, like recreating. I mean, dude, you know what actually? You know what? Steven Crowder recreated the George Floyd execution to like belittle it and minimize it and make fun of it. He does like racist ass skits on a regular basis. He's not even funny. He's not even charismatic. And Daily Wire still wanted to give him a $50 million contract. Like there's virtually nothing you can do. I guess the one thing you can't do is just like be anti-Israel. That's like pretty much it. You can be anti-Semitic, but you can't be anti-Israel for the right. Because like, it's not like Candace Owens wasn't anti-Semitic when she got a job at the Daily Wire. She literally got a job at the Daily Wire and she was like saying Hitler wanted to make Germany great. You know, it's not like Ben Shapiro didn't know that when they hired her. They just didn't care. The thing that you can't do is just like be anti-Israel. I think that's it. Or just like openly be a Nazi. I think those are the two things that like get you actual penalties on the right. But beyond that, like you can make inferences, you can literally act, you can say 99% of the Nazi. Anna is anti-Israel though? Yeah, that's true. Anna is anti-Israel.
On her
The only reason, for the record, the only reason why like the right doesn't like open overt Nazi rhetoric is because it f***ed up the bag for them. Like they would not give a about Nazi rhetoric if Americans weren't primed, if Americans weren't like openly primed into, thankfully, hating Nazis. Like it is not, being a Nazi is like treated as an objectively bad thing in this country. That's like, thank God, it's like one of the last things. So that's the only reason why I think like right wingers don't like the term Nazi, because people will, you know, then people will start catching on that your opinions are so close to Nazis, you know? Ann Coulter regarding tweets regarding Jews, awful, nonsensical. Ann Coulter is also super pro-Israel and has always been so. So I won't lose sleep.
show on TYT, she has complained about not making money. I don't know why she's
still on TYT. Like, aren't they going to lose members who are progressives?
I got to be honest with you. I don't really pay that much attention to like showbiz.
Like, where's a big right-wing pundit who joined a liberal network, like Ana Kasparian announcing she's leaving?
Sam is absolutely right. Anna has said that on Michael Brooks' show talking about Dave Rubin. Here it is. Yeah, it's not shocking because it's correct.
I made it abundantly clear it's very unlikely that any of us are going to get paid millions of dollars. And he was doing this 30-minute-a-week show, which I thought was fine. It didn't seem to me that he really cared too much about politics.
Right.
The person behind that show who really made it happen was his husband, who, like, I love that guy. I mean, I haven't talked to him. I'm sure he doesn't have great thoughts about me, but he was a very hard worker. He was very smart, and he was...
Rest in power, Michael Jamal Brooks. Yeah, I don't know what, like, Anna's personal motivations are in like, how her perspective is shifted on a lot of these issues. I suspect it's probably from, like, again, 20 years of advocacy on the left, on the progressive left, and like constantly getting shit on by the left, that and maybe like a traumatic incident that probably changed her framework on one particular issue that everybody harped on. And then once you let that reactionary demon in your mind, it's a scary thing. It just like starts overtaking everything else, you know? Like, I think originally it was like crime and crime panic narrative that completely captured her attention. And then people were very annoyed with her for that. And then a lot of the trans panic stuff like also snuck in there. And then people were very mad at her for that as well. And now, wait, hold on. Majority Report tries very hard not to comment on TYT when people bring them up. Yeah, I only bring up TYT to defend Unc. That's my Unc, dude. At this point, Sam Cedars is a gross liar. Anna never says she wants to leave the left for money. When he's pressed on it, he claims ignorance. Then why did you lie about it? We've lost subscribers and money because we acted at a principle, something Sam wouldn't understand. I hate to see Unc on Unc violence like this. Here she talked about why. I don't really care. What is this? As someone on the inside with direct knowledge, I can assure you that Jink is wrong and Sam Cedar is an absolute expert in losing money out of principle, lol. Yeah. Like I don't think it's like grifting necessarily. Like I think Jank is genuine. I think he genuinely believes the things he says. And I say this as someone who talks to him personally and in private. You know what I mean? Do with that information what you will. Like I disagree with him certainly, but he is very similar to myself. He's like stubborn to a fault, which I think can be annoying at times when if you don't have the right mindset in your analysis on certain issues. All I'm saying is Jank's Giving is going to go hard this year, dude. I just got to notice that I'm watching a stream of political content and I can change my content preference. Thanks, Twitch, I guess. Like you and nuclear energy. No, I'm much more receptive to nuclear energy. That's crazy. That's an insane thing to say. I just like openly recognize that I'm a Luddite and probably in the wrong with my assessment of nuclear energy than Cenk is with like crime panic, you know? That's crazy. And I gave Matt Walsh props. Ew, that's gross. Under no condition do you have to hand it to ISIS, okay? There is no circumstance where you have to hand it to ISIS, the Nazis, or Matt Walsh. That is unacceptable, okay?